Live, Maddy Glab alongside Bills legend Steve Tasker. We are presented by Wesley, Clark, and Peshkin, your divorce and estate planning attorneys. Your family is our business. This week's game sponsors LECOM, Lake Erie College of Osteopathic Medicine. LECOM, we make doctors. The Buffalo Bills defeat the New England Patriots 24-10. It was great to see this offense get back to their older ways. I know there wasn't 30 points on the scoreboard, but I think there's a lot of positives the Bills can take away from this game. They did limit the Patriots quite a bit on defense without Von Miller. They go 1-0 in this 3-week stretch against AFC East opponents. They're now 1-2 in the division. This is step one in the right direction in a tough next 2 weeks that the Bills have, Steve.
Yeah, they just won their third road game in 12 days. One of them will count as a home game because of the Detroit game and the Cleveland game, but they just won their third road game in 12 days. They were just too much on both sides of the ball for this Patriot team to stay with. You're right, they didn't score 30 points, but they did have a touchdown called back on a meaningless holding penalty that really didn't need to be made.
Yeah.
It was a penalty, no question about it, but it didn't affect the end of the play, which ended up being in the touchdown with Steph Diggs in the back of the end zone. So, yeah, 24 points on 7 and allowing 7 points for the Patriots. Yeah, it was. This game was a slow strangulation of the opponent.
Burn.
Yeah, they had 38 minutes and 38 plus minutes of time of possession. The Patriots had just under 22 time of possession. Patriots had 8 first downs. The Bills had 20. Yeah, they just totally dominated this game, even with a multitude of mistakes that they did to themselves, and one that ended up taking a touchdown off the board and giving the ball to the Patriots. Even that couldn't save them.
They can definitely learn from a few things. Josh Allen was a full participant all week in practices. It was good to see a healthy elbow for Josh Allen in tonight's game. I think we saw that with some of the high-flying passes. And, of course, just some of the Josh Allen runs. But we're going to talk about defense first. Tremaine Edmonds is on the podium answering some questions. So let's hear from Tremaine.
Yeah, it felt good. A lot of momentum changes, but, we found a way to win, and that's what it's all about. Guys stayed together. We knew halftime that it didn't matter what the score was. We had to come out and finish the ball game, and, we did a good job. Offense did a good job, and then defense complimented itself. That's what the game was about, complimenting football, and, I think we did a good job with it.
Even at the end, it seemed like not finishing that one in the end zone, even though you guys were pretty much trading yards for
right. Right. Yeah, it was a long drive for sure, but like I said, man, we found a way just to hold them to 3, and that was huge. Obviously, we was able to. Gabe did a good job with the onside kick, and we was able to put the game away. So, I mean, that's what good teams do. They find a way to close the game out, and we did a good job. Guys did a good job of making plays, and resulted in us, closing the game out.
Stopping Steelers, kind of the first priority for me.
We just knew we had to make them one-dimensional, whichever way that was. Obviously, we pride ourselves on stopping the run. It's not always pretty, but, I think guys did a good job this week of, taking accountability towards that and, practicing hard and, making sure that we, got net assignment taken care of. So hats off to the defense, hats off to the guys up front, man, because that's the unit to get this defense going, just all around. And, guys made big-time plays. You saw A.J. making a lot of plays. Guys all around the defensive line. And, those guys work hard each and every day, and they continue taking strides forward, and we will as a defense as well.
Every year you guys talk about winning the division. You lost the first 2. How big was it to get this one, to get kind of back in that goal, kind of back in focus?
Yeah, it was definitely big. It was definitely big, man. Our focus is on, just ahead. We're not looking back. Obviously, there's nothing we can do back on those games. I like to live on. You keep looking in the past, man, you're going to trip going forward. So we just got to keep going, man. Each week is its own entity, and we just got to keep going. That's what this game is about. We can celebrate this one for sure, but come next week, man, we got to flip the page and continue to get better, man, because, it's not going to get any easier. So we just got to keep going and keep trusting the process.
How did you feel to get back out there, and how did you come away from the game physically?
Man, it felt good. It felt good. It's never good missing games, man, but, it felt real good. I'm healthy now, no setbacks right now, so, I just got to keep going, continue to trust it, man, continue to do what I got to do off the field as far as staying healthy, trusting the trainers, and just keep going forward.
You didn't get to play with Trey last week, having him out there even for a few more snaps today. What's that do for your whole defense when he's out?
Man, I think all of us, get a smile on our face when we see 2-7 over there, man. Just his playmaking ability, and, it speaks for itself. Obviously, we know what he could do, and just seeing him out there, man, it puts a smile on my face because I know everything he's been through. I've been seeing it day in and day out, just the hard work that he's been putting in. And, he comes every day, with the mindset of getting better, whether that's training room, whether that's working on his technique, man, and he's doing everything he can to be out there on that field, man, and I see it each and every day. So, I take my hat off to him, man. It speaks character. It speaks to the type of character he has as a person. And, it goes a long way. He was like that since I met him. And this is just a little bump in the road for him. And, that was a little bump in the road for him. But he's coming back stronger than ever. And like I said, man, I just take my hat off to him because I see the way that he works. And, obviously that's a lot of adversity that he went through. And, I never really see him with his head down, man. He's always thinking positive, always on the positive side of things. And, that speaks to the type of person he is.
Yep. Jordan's up next.
All right, that was Tremaine Edmonds. He led the way for the Buffalo Bills with 6 total tackles. It was great to see him back in the lineup after missing a couple of weeks. That front 7 is super important for the Bills, especially when they're facing somebody like Ramondre Stevenson. The Bills held the Patriots to just 60 rushing yards. Now you're seeing a stretch of a few games now where this run defense has done a lot better of a job limiting really good running backs, including Ramondre Stevenson, who is a great running back for the Patriots, but also led the team in receptions heading into this game. It's time for our Microsoft Surface Player Spotlight. It's presented by Microsoft Surface. Microsoft Surface is the official tablet and sideline technology of the Buffalo Bills, and we're putting the spotlight on Tremaine Edmonds for what he was able to do in this victory over the Patriots. Steve, why was it so good to get him back in this game?
You see him going side to side on the run in the run game, just doing a really nice job finding his space and meeting Ramondre Stevenson right there in the hole on this play, stopping him for no gain. Their ability to stop the run over the last few games has really been difference making. Plus, the Bills' rushing attack is actually coming on board as well. The Bills are the only team in the league that has rushed for 100 yards in each of their games this season. Of course, Josh has been a big part of that, but tonight he didn't lead the team in rushing. It was James Cook who did it with 64 yards on, I think, 14 carries. Devin Singletary was second, 13 yards with 51 carries. And then Josh had 20 yards on 8 carries. The running game is starting to gain some speed like we saw it at the end of last season. I think that could really go a long way towards changing the perception of the Bills' offense when they go into a stadium and other teams say, well, listen, it's not just Josh and Steph now. It's James Cook, it's Devin Singletary. When the Bills have a viable running game, one that they can depend on in games like this, it really spells problems for them, being a matchup problem, I'm saying, for teams that are facing them defensively. It used to be just fall back in coverage because they're throwing it all over the yard with Josh Allen. Now what are we going to do? We got to pack the box in there, and all of a sudden we're susceptible to the big play. This is exactly where the Bills want to be. It was a game that they slowly just sucked the life out of the Patriots' ability to wage war in this game, and they just couldn't get it done.
It was Buffalo's 3rd straight game of at least 130 rushing yards. The last 2, they go over 160. Heading into this game, those last 2 games were over 160. They put up 132 on the ground today. What did you think about Ken Dorsey's commitment to the run today? Because it seemed like a little bit different than what we have seen when it comes to him pulling things out of his bag of calls.
I sense Sean McDermott kind of having this big brother kind of envelope over everything, because you see an offense like the Patriots and your defense has got them. Aside from a missed tackle and a snapped off a big play, that's kind of an aberration. And having the faith in your defense is like they're not going to do that again. Saying, listen, Ken Dorsey, they can't score on us. Don't let them have the ball so that they get some of those some lucky play. Ken Dorsey on a 15-play drive for 95 yards that took forever off the clock, they handed it off 9 times. That was big. And if 9 runs on that play, on that drive, and it ended up in the end zone, and that really was the one that put it from 17 to 24 to 7, and the Bills never looked back. After that drive, the stadium was just out of air. After that, the Patriots defense was disinterested. Their fans were disinterested. They wanted out of there.
One 14-play drive for the Bills, one 15-play drive for the Bills. It is their. They had a couple of long drives, too. That 15-play drive went over 90 yards. It's the team's 5th drive for a touchdown that went over 90 yards this season. That's the most since 1991. You love to see when the offense is on the field and just completely burns the clock like that.
The only time the Patriots had some success is the last drive. They had 5 minutes and 45 seconds of possession. It was a 17-play drive when they were going fast as they could and running plays. Bills were playing soft. Other than that, they had a 7-play drive and an 8-play drive, and that was it. Both of those drives ended with a punt. So the Bills were totally on top of them tonight. It didn't feel like that. And I think Bills fans have some angst anytime they go to Foxborough because of the history with that franchise. Yeah. But the Bills would have none of it tonight. They were the better team on both sides of the ball. You could feel it, even though the scoreboard didn't show it. So you never really felt like you were going to walk away from this and take a deep breath until after they went up 24-7. Then it was evident who was going to win the game.
I was hoping for one more touchdown, but you know what? 24-10 is just all right because it's a win for the Buffalo Bills. We heard from Tremaine Edmonds just a little bit ago. We had a player who basically had an interception, but it got called back for the silly rule when you hit the ground and the ball goes out and it's not an interception anymore. But Jordan Poyer, he made a heck of a play grabbing that ball. We're going to hear from him because he was answering some questions right after the game. Here he is.
I mean, guys just one day at a time fighting, from the moment we got snowed in, having to go to Detroit twice and just kept battling. And, it just says a lot about the guys in that locker room, the culture that we've been building here. And hats off to everyone on the team, man. It was a rough, 15 days, playing 3 games. But like I said, we got it done. And we're excited to have a couple days off and play at home next week.
You guys had a lot of chances on third down. They only had one conversion for that last drive there. What were you guys? And he looked indecisive.
Yeah, our D-line was getting after him, like those guys have been doing all season. Greg really stepped up. You can go down the line of guys that really stepped up in that game, and us on the back end just trying to give them an extra second to get to the quarterback. That has been a huge emphasis for us over the past couple weeks, getting off the field on third down. And so that's something that Coach Frazier and Sean had a really great game plan for us, and we just went out there and was able to execute it and get off the field.
You need to work on surviving the ground.
I just saw it. That's a catch to me. That's a catch to me. I don't know what's the catch nowadays. Like I don't know. They said it bobbled, but it still didn't hit the ground. I had 2 feet in. Sorry, I'll get it back.
Devon goes on IR today. He gets played immediately after that happens. Shaq Lawson makes a couple of plays. Started to mention some of the guys. How important is that depth that you guys have built along that defense?
Yeah, it's huge, man. Like I said, those guys have been playing well all season. Shaq's a different animal out there this year. Right? It's like he came back to Buffalo and was like, golly, he's playing out of his mind. Like I said, you can go up and down that line with guys that are just playing really good football for us. And like I said, us on the back end, we're just trying to give them an extra second to get to the quarterback. And like I said, those guys are playing well.
You can lock it down like that. I mean, they're kicking a field goal. They're down 3 scores. Like that's a wave the white flag.
Yeah.
How satisfying is that when you've got them basically right where you want them at the end of the game?
Yeah, I mean that's why we play. That's why we play the game. We want to get them in situations where we feel good about it, and we want to be able to stop the run and get Mac in a one-dimensional game, having to, try to win the game with his arm. And that was, we call it a closer. We didn't have a closer today. Someone trying to get an interception or a fumble to end the game, but we held them 3 points at the end of the game and got the onside kick. Shout out to the special teams. Those guys have been coming through, week in and week out, and so we got it done.
Jordan, I certainly understand and respect the one game at a time approach and what that means, but do you guys have a sense of the division race, how tight it is, and how significant a win like this is sort of the goal of competing again?
I don't know how significant it is. I know each division win is big. We got another division game next week, and I think we got 2 in a row actually, one game at a time. But it's I get in trouble if I don't say that. But yeah, all of them are big, man. Especially when you go on the road, third road game in a row. You can really look at it like that. Third road game in a row, to be able to go on the road in a hostile environment like this and play the way we did. It's huge. Thanks, guys.
All right, that was Jordan Poyer. I love how he said, we've got to say one game at a time or else we're going to get in trouble for it. That's the mentality they have to have. We know the next couple of games are super important for this team. They're going to face the Jets this upcoming, well, not upcoming Sunday, next Sunday, because we've got the weekend off. And then after that, they'll have the Miami Dolphins. One thing I wanted to bring up about the offense that I was super proud of, that they kind of piggybacked off of the Lions win, was their red zone efficiency. This has been a stat that this team has struggled with. They rank 19th heading into this game, scoring touchdowns in the red zone 53% of the time. Guess what their number was tonight?
Tell me.
3 of 3 in the red zone. 100%. They were 75%. Against the Lions, go 100% tonight. That's what you want to see. That's what you want to see against a tough defense in the Patriots. I know they were without some players, but you've got Matthew Judon. You've got several other talented defensive players who are coming at Josh Allen, who are pressuring Josh Allen and that offensive line. And to see them go 3 for 3 in the red zone and score touchdowns, I think was super important and a big part of this victory.
Yeah, you see them move the football the way they did and get down there and be efficient down in the red zone. I also, we knew it was going to happen. They punted twice in this game. It's the first time in 3 games they punted. And, Sam Martin did a nice job. They averaged, I think they had 3 for 40. They had 3 punts overall for 45 yards, 45.3 net. Really nice average. The special teams did extremely well. Tyler Bass, Special Teams Player of the Month, came through for him. And on a night when points were at a premium, the Patriots kicker, Nick Folk, couldn't get there on a 46-yarder. Hit it off the crossbar, and that kept it a 2-score game later in the game when the Bills went up. That made a big difference, I think, going into halftime, 10 points up instead of just a touchdown. So on all fronts, the Bills played extremely well, and the only thing that really tripped them up was their own.
Yep.
And I think their offensive line problems. I think Deion Dawkins' absence had a real ripple effect across the offensive line that they struggled with. They had some pass protection issues in some one-on-ones that they couldn't handle those guys, and it caused problems, although they were able to obviously overcome them.
Yeah, I was going to say it was good to see them overcome that, even though they did face a lot of pressure on the offensive line and Josh Allen faced some pressure. I mean, the Patriots are a team that ranked number 2 in the NFL in terms of pressure rate. They have the 2nd most sacks in the NFL. Matthew Judon leads the NFL with 13 sacks. This was all going into tonight's game, and it was nice for them to find the answer when they needed to find the answer. How about the Bills' defensive line, though, Steve? Some unfortunate news before the game was Von Miller going to injured reserve, so he's out for at least 4 games. Tonight's game does count as 1 game. That's why they wanted to put him on the injured reserve this afternoon. But the defensive line got A.J. Epinesa back. They got Greg Rousseau back. And it was nice to see some reinforcements. This team is getting healthier, even though, they miss Von Miller for the next couple weeks. It was nice to see some of the younger defensive linemen back in the lineup. How do you think they did against the Patriots offensive line?
Well, they got one sack tonight. A.J. Epinesa got through finally. They were chasing it at the end of the game when the Patriots were throwing the football. They had trouble getting home, and Mac Jones was really good at stepping up and stepping through. They didn't do a really good job at containing him in the pocket and making sure he stayed there. But they did cause him some problems, and he is not a good quarterback on the run. So they did do their job in getting him out of the pocket. But you'd love to see them get him on the ground once in a while. They missed a couple of opportunities where they had him.
Yeah.
They got an intentional grounding early in the game that looked like it was going to be a safety. So they did their job tonight, no question. Plus, I think in the big scheme of things, the bigger part of this, particularly in this matchup with the Patriots, it was more important for them to be stout against the run than really an elite pass rushing group. but I thought they did a good job in both of those.
They were definitely stout against the run, only allowed 60 rushing yards. That's an incredible number in terms of yards allowed on the ground. Ramondre Stevenson just goes for 54 rushing yards. He's the Patriots' best offensive weapon, definitely so far this season. He's got over 1,000 scrimmage yards so far this season. Somebody who's been playing great for the Buffalo Bills had a couple of touchdowns tonight. Josh Allen, he's on the podium for the Bills right now.
Yeah, we got a few days off. A little mini bye here, which is good timing for our guys, getting guys healthy. Kind of a nice little reset as we move back home, and we know we've got some divisional games coming up, and again, we got to put our best foot forward and try to find a way to win some football games here.
Josh, talk about the way you guys established the run. It was really probably the key to the game tonight, so you guys on offense.
Yeah, I thought Doris did a good job of mixing those in. I thought Motor and James ran the ball extremely hard. We were skipping some third downs, which is always a plus. And then when we did have third downs, we were putting our noses down and going and getting it, being really physical, playing some physical football. So, again, the more that we can get those guys going, it's just going to open up so many different things for us.
Josh, you talk about execution a lot, right? I mean, that 15-play, 94-yard drive there in the second, how would you characterize the execution of play mix and all that? That was just a critical, dominating drive.
Yeah, again, anytime you can go 95 yards, it's a plus. But when you do it that way, and it's a long, sustaining drive, those ones feel really good. Those O-linemen, they love those types of drives where they can just kind of go in there and grind it out. So again, our guys, I thought we played really well tonight. Obviously only 24 points, but our defense played fantastic ball where we didn't feel like we had to press and make any mistakes. Obviously, there's a few plays that we'd like to have back. But again, these are good wins in division, away. It's hard to win this league, so we'll learn from this one, move on.
Josh, the touchdown at the game. I know it happens fast, but was there any moment you hesitated about taking that shot? I mean, you're right on the edge of going out of bounds and it's in the red zone. No. I trust him. He made a play and just giving him a chance to do it. So I appreciate him continuing to work on that play. And I know I got to be better down there. And there's a few plays that I wish I had back today. But a win's a win. We'll take them how we can get them.
Well, the coaches pretty much at some point just say, hey, let's just choke this game out because the run game's like 3.6 a carry, and it's not like you guys are killing them on the ground, but you just said screw it, we're just gonna keep running and choke the game out.
Yeah, and they were playing some too high shell and just kind of basically daring us to run it. So I thought Dorsey did a good job of staying patient. Our guys did a good job of holding on to the football and making some good cuts, making some good runs, and moving the chains when we could.
You made some throws today that you weren't able to step into. You've seen, how's the elbow, I guess is what I'm going to ask you.
It's good.
Is it it's progressively better?
Yeah, I think every day it gets better. And again, it's something that I don't think about when I'm out in the field, and I think that's the most important thing. But again, continue to be in the training room and working with the guys, and shout out our guys in our training room, guys and gals there, because I think we've got the best group in that training room. They work so hard, they work so many hours. I can't tell them how much I appreciate them enough, and I think our team would say the same thing.
How about James Cook taking the bull by the horns? Got some increased opportunities today. Really seemed to run with it.
Yeah, again, he's dynamic with the ball in his hands. Found some good lanes today. And the more we can get him going, moving forward too, I think that's going to benefit us in the long run.
Can you speak to how difficult it was? We'll get to Jay-Z after. Speak to how difficult it was, though, to win 3 games away from home in 12 days. That's kind of unprecedented. The league doesn't schedule 3 away games in 12 days.
Yeah, again, we could have used every excuse in the book, but our guys, we work extremely hard. We care about each other, care about each other's families, and I think when you have that type of love in the locker room, you're going to find ways to win football games. And it wasn't easy, I'll say that, but I will say having this little mini bye, with I don't know how many games are left. Was it 5 games left? I think that's extremely beneficial for getting guys healthy and just kind of maybe a little mental reset for our guys, because we know these games that are coming up, they matter. The ones in December and January, they matter. And again, we got to find ways to go win some football games.
Red zone run defense. I mean, you guys you got down there 3 times. You stuck all 3 in the end zone. I think you're like 6% your last 7 now. Do you feel like there's some momentum building down there? Or?
Yeah, I definitely do. And, we know that we haven't been as good as we've wanted to down there. And it's been a key emphasis for us of just making sure that we love the play calls down there and guys know what they're doing and executing. I think Dorsey's doing a good job of mixing it up and allowing us to go down there and be free and not have to worry about the other stuff.
Hey, Josh, what will your role be in Odell's upcoming visit this week?
We'll see.
Thanks, everybody.
Go Bills.
Love seeing Josh Allen in that 14 jersey. Not a Stephon Diggs jersey. That's a Ryan Fitzpatrick jersey that has Fitzmagic's signature on the back because he's part of the Amazon Prime broadcast. Loved seeing Josh Allen rock that in warm-ups and post-game. A good game from Josh Allen. He's looking healthier and healthier in terms of that right elbow. He made some throws that we haven't seen him make in the last couple of games. He had that incredible touchdown pass to Stephon Diggs in the end zone.
Back.
The one that was for a touchdown.
That
counted.
Yeah.
I mean,
that was a dart.
That was a dart. It wasn't a big ball by any means, but he is falling into the sideline basically and decides to throw the ball. He almost got his legs taken out from under him.
Yeah, he's in full retreat, and it looks like he's facing a different direction than the one he's throwing it in, and he just makes the play. It was great. This is the one where he goes back. Yeah, that's a little bit like the first touchdown in last year's playoff game. Same spot on the field, throws it in. Gabe Davis
throws
comes
it on
back
a rope
inside.
to Gabe Davis.
That was a great one, and his ability to outrun people now got him into trouble too. And this is something that in the turnovers in the last month. Now he hasn't turned it over in the last 2 games, but when Josh was throwing red zone interceptions and that kind of thing. That he was kind of having a lull in the season there. But, excuse me, one of the things we saw was those plays didn't go his way. Mm-hmm. But as we saw,
now they're starting to go his way.
You got to live with that if you're with Josh Allen. You got to live with it. If we're going to ride with him, he's going to make some awesome plays like he did tonight, and many more of those than he does bad ones. So you got to learn to live with the occasional interception.
Yeah, most definitely. 3rd down for this team on defense. On offense, I think it was a lot better. They convert 60% of their 3rd downs, were 9 of 15, and then the defense. These 3rd and long situations for the defense the last couple of games are kind of head scratchers as we all watched the last 2 games heading into this Patriots game. Well, they hold the Patriots to just 3 of 12. They only converted 25% of their 3rd downs. I think it was really nice to see the defense step up on 3rd down. Their average so far this season, they've been allowing teams to convert 40% of their 3rd downs, which ranks around 18th in the NFL.
And they were also really good defensively in the red zone. They were 0 for 1. They didn't let them get down there, and even when they did, they didn't score. So huge boost for the Bills' defense. It's good that this is the first time in a while that Poyer, Edmonds, and Milano have all been on the field at the same time. All 4 defensive tackles were healthy. The 4 young defensive tackles were healthy. Vaughn's out for a month, but they had plenty of guys on that defensive side that were up and running. And this tonight, and most notably, and it was talked about by the media, a little bit with their eyebrows raised, Kaiir Elam was inactive for this game. And Xavier Rhodes was active and got a lot of reps in this game. Tre'Davious White it looked like he played the whole game. I'll have to go back and check the snap counts. But Tre'Davious White is back in the saddle, it looks like, going forward. On that side of the ball, the Bills seem to have it together. They played like it tonight. A 10-point effort against the Patriot offense. You got to be really happy with where they are, both personnel-wise and schematically.
Yeah, and that's what you want to see out of this team. 5 games left in the regular season. This is when you want the team to be healthy. This is when you want them to start playing their best ball. We saw the Bills win out at the end of the season last year. This is when you want a team to turn it on full throttle and head on into the playoffs. Shaq Lawson was in the locker room answering some questions. He had a couple of big plays tonight, so let's send it over to Shaq.
We knew what type of game it was going to be. You know, those guys wanted to run the ball. And ain't even gonna lie, I thought they was going to run the ball like they did last year because it was windy and stuff. And we knew we just had to stop the run.
To win these 3 games on the road, you know, all the stuff you guys been through the last few days, how much of the accomplishment is that for this team?
Oh, man, just road dogs, road warriors, just trying to find a way to win. You know, took a team effort, cooperative football all 3 ways. I mean, just find a way to win. And we know just these down December football is most important now.
First time out there without Vaughn. What was kind of the message and the rallying call going into this one, especially with you guys up front?
Shoot, next man up. You know, the four guys that had at the end, me, Glab, AJ, Book. I mean, guys was waiting for moments like this. You know, we don't never see a player get hurt, but I mean, when your opportunity to call on him, you just got to make the most of it.
Tremaine was pretty physical out there. To get him back, what does that mean for you guys?
It feels great to get our leader back. You know, the leader in the middle. You know, things run through him. You know, it was great to see him back. It started physical between all three levels of the ball, so it was just great to see everybody physical.
You were here when the script was flipped with New England and Buffalo. What is it like being on the other side?
It's my first time winning in Gillette Stadium. I just said that. I said I ain't never won in Gillette Stadium. I ain't never won, so it was just my first time, so it kind of feel good to get a win in Gillette Stadium.
And now it's the key to stopping Ramondre Stevenson.
We knew he was a physical running back. We had to create a line of scrimmage, dominate these tight ends and up front. And, you know, each week coaches put it on us, start up front. So we knew what we had to do to shut the run down.
It seemed like you guys were generating a lot of pressure, you especially early on in the game. But Matt seems slippery back there.
Not a little slippery. He wasn't trying to get rid of it. He wasn't trying to get a sack. He wasn't trying to, but I mean, we continue to get pressure on him, continue to harass him and things like that.
Did you feel like he looked spooked? It didn't seem like he could settle in the pocket at all.
I mean, that's any quarterback in the league. You put pressure on him. It's hard to complete. I feel like even when I play Maddy, when people put pressure on me, I feel like a real quarterback in real life. So, man, I just know how they feel, man. That heat come in your face, that pressure, it's a little different, man. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Shaq Lawson or Ty Crane as he goes by. Always entertaining to hear him in his interviews. Love that he said, this is my first win in Gillette Stadium, and it does feel nice. He's been a threat the last couple of games. I mean, he had a couple plays tonight where it was obvious. There's Shaq Lawson, and he is making plays. Him, Jordan Phillips, the guys who have come back to this team. The Bills signed John Brown this weekend, and he was active for tonight's game. It's been nice to see some of these guys who have played for Buffalo, who have gone elsewhere, who have wanted to come back, and who have made a difference this year on the team.
Yeah, it does. It speaks to the culture. That culture was illustrated today, I think, even further when they put Von Miller on IR. Von was going to try and come back as quick as he could, and the team said, no, we don't need you for these next stretch. We need you when the playoffs are coming around. We're not going to let you go back, hurt yourself, and drag this thing around. We're going to get you 100% and come back and play when you're ready. That sends a message around the league that this is a team that treats its players like they need to be treated, even protects them from themselves, and that's huge. And no pressure for Von to come back earlier than he was able to, or than he wanted to. I think it says a lot. The way they handled Tre'Davious White coming back off of his injury. He got on the field, and now after taking 15 or 16 snaps last week, we saw him all night tonight, and he's got to be feeling really good about the way he was handled. So, yeah, that kind of thing speaks to why players want to come back here. John Brown, Shaq Lawson, Jordan Phillips, A.J. Klein. It's a place that is fun to play. You got a chance to win a championship. They take care of you, and it's a great locker room. So that culture that Sean McDermott has built with the players that Brandon Beane has gotten, it's something special, and we saw some of it tonight.
Another player who we were glad to see back in the lineup tonight was center Mitch Morse. He was answering some questions right after the game, so let's send it over to Mitch.
Much success, and sometimes what happens, like even subconsciously, you got to go into a matchup a little bit different maybe. But you guys seem so dialed in this week. What was the week like in practice and preparation?
Well, coming off of a short week, it was kind of a catch-22 in regards to we understood that this was a very formidable team, and at the same time, Coach had to put us in a position where we could get our bodies underneath us and get back in there. So, it's a testament to the guys being pros, detailing their work when we need to, and then when we had that opportunity and walkthroughs and practice, taking advantage of it. We understand what the Patriots hold, a very formidable front, very multiple defense, and an offense that when when it gets going, it's hard to stop. So for us, it was just playing complementary football, trying to put our defense in an advantageous situation, make their offense a little more one-dimensional in the pass, and just keeping points on the board. And there's ebbs and flows throughout the game. As the game progressed, we felt better, and it went from there.
How important is it when you can start being as balanced as you guys were today, really doing so much, and Dorsey really just kind of having that kind of game plan to allow that to be so efficient?
Well, I think when you have a guy like Judon or Uche or any of those dudes or any of those interior guys, they're not only are they coached well, they're just good. They're just darn good football players. So whenever we can put ourselves in a position where we're just not, taking 5-step drops or playing that much empty, and we can kind of at least get them on their toes and make them think a little bit, that helps us out a lot. So, but to do that, and for the offensive coordinator to feel like he can call those calls, we have to execute a little bit, and we were able to make some adjustments in the sideline. Find the plays that were working for us a little bit, and they still were, it was a very challenging front, and it felt good to execute in the run game to give ourselves a little bit of a cushion at least to not feel like we have to drop back and play one-dimensional.
Mitch, what is it about this team, or maybe the leadership on this team, that allowed you guys to get through this 12-day period, 3 road games, snowstorm, all the things that happened, and to get through with 3 wins?
Here, let's scoot back here, man. I just let these people. Sorry, I'm not.
No, I'm with you. I'm happy to.
Yeah. Bloody doors. Like I said, Coach McDermott treated us like professionals, and really gave us an opportunity to get our work done, but at the same time take care of our bodies, get a few guys back from injury, or guys having a quick turnaround. And it's tough in this league to do that, and go from there. And it's just interesting when they say to. This is just kind of a caveat, I don't know, but the turf thing, the whole, you can't warm up and stuff, but then they have a damn concert at halftime on the turf. Mm-hmm. They don't let guys warm up before. I think it's interesting. So, but back to what you said, Coach put us in a position to be pros and let us handle our business, and our coaches put us in positions to go.
But how nice is it now to have 11 days to kind of reset mentally and physically?
It's great. I think a lot of guys are feeling that 12-day stretch physically, even mentally. Go home, reset, get our work done. Detail, we understand that, after Thanksgiving, and especially with how many division games we have, all these games are paramount wins, and we have a very tough division, and finally get to go home a few games, which I'm sure the fans will appreciate as much as we do and our families do. So it'll be a great time to reset, be a dad for a little bit, get your body right, and then come out a little bit of fire going against a really good Jets team.
There was that little stretch there where, a couple games where the offense, you guys were just trying to figure things out.
All right, that was Mitch Morse. He was talking about how it's going to be nice for this team to get a little bit of a break before they face the Jets, and the Bills have already faced the Jets this season. It resulted in a loss, one of their 2 losses in the division so far this season. So, Steve, as we look forward to the rest of the season, what do you want to see from this team as they have 2 more games in this 3-game stretch against divisional opponents?
A lot of what we saw tonight and what we've seen throughout the season, just more of it, and less self-inflicted mistakes.
Yeah.
Penalties, drop passes, turnovers.
Yeah, the fumble tonight.
2-minute
offense was on the field.
Exactly. If I would like to see him play more mistake-free football while still keeping their foot on the gas. If you can see that from this team, this is a team that's unbeatable in my opinion. They go to Kansas City and beat a Chiefs team that's playing well in their building for the 2nd year in a row. That's a tough one to get done, and they've done it a couple of times. Josh is still the only quarterback that's beaten Pat Mahomes twice in his own building. So this is a team that when they've got their foot on the gas and they don't make mistakes themselves, you can't beat them. But we've seen them get beat 3 times this year, and you can go back and look at less than a handful of plays that were the difference in any of those games, and they haven't been beaten by more than 3 points by any of those teams. So that's what I want to see going forward. Keep their ability to play open and free football, but cut down on their own mistakes, their own penalties and turnovers, and they're going to go. There's no stopping them.
I think you see guys coming back. The health factor is big for this team. I know Von Miller won't be a part of the lineup for the next couple of weeks, but this team is getting healthier when you look at guys who haven't been a part of the game plan the last couple weeks and guys that this team have gotten back this week. Hopefully Deion Dawkins is a part of the mix as well as we head into the Jets week. We saw Jordan Phillips go down at the end of the game. Hopefully everything is all right with him. Hopefully the illness thing is in the past for this team. It was the second straight game where they faced several players who were out with illness. I think a big thing, too, is just convincing wins. They've had some nail-biters against the Browns, against the Lions, really since the bye week, honestly. It hasn't been convincing wins for this team, and this team is so good on offense. They rank second in the NFL, averaging over 28 points a game, and we haven't felt that way about this team on offense really since the bye week. They came out of the gate in week 1, really convincing win over the Rams, really convincing win over the Titans, had a great first 6 weeks of the season. And they did pick up some wins after the bye week, but the offense kind of took a beat off. It could have been Josh Allen's elbow, some of the turnovers as well, throw that all into the mix. But this was a convincing win against the Patriots. I know it wasn't 30 points like I said in the open, but 24-10. They went up 24-7, and it felt like stress-free football for all of us watching at home.
Yeah, it really did. When they got the touchdown after the 15-play drive for 95 yards and went up 24-7, it was a fait accompli. The Patriots were not going to score 17 points against that defense, not tonight. They didn't have the firepower. They didn't have the quarterback to do it. And they weren't going to be able to get enough possessions from the Buffalo Bills to get it done anyway. A lot of time left in that football game, and it was just an absolute death march for the Patriots because they just knew they were marching off a cliff. They had no chance to get back in that game the way they were playing football and with their capabilities that they'd shown.
Yeah, you mentioned it. The Bills held the ball for 38 minutes to the Patriots 21 minutes. The Bills had 72 plays on offense. The Patriots just had 51 plays on offense. All right, we're hanging around for Sean McDermott. He's now on the podium taking some questions, so let's send it over to Sean.
All right, good to get a win. It's a hard place to win against a good football team, well-coached football team. I thought the guys did a really good job of playing complementary football. Impressed by the leadership, the character of our football team, and the stretch that we had over the last 3 games here. And glory to God for all of his blessings. So with that, I'll turn it over to you.
Sean, 33 pass attempts, 37 rushing attempts. Can you kind of speak to that balance and how the team was able to execute it?
Yeah, I thought Coach Dorsey did a really good job of changing it up, and when the run's working like it was at times, just being able to stick with it, and sometimes it wasn't, but it's going to happen like that, and just being able to stick with it. I thought he was very patient in that regard, and the O-line I thought did a really good job up front. I thought we had a chance to get that last drive. Get that first down there, but they moved the ball back to a second and short. Then we got hit behind the line. But I thought overall the pad level of the offensive line, I thought was very good.
So what was it about James Cook's week that wanted you to get him more involved?
I don't think it was necessarily, Joe, about his week. It was just overall his growth and seeing what he can do. And I thought, they did a good job offensively. Coach Skipper of rotating different guys in there, and it just wasn't all motor, and I think that's a good thing there.
Even in the red zone, Coach, you have 14 red zone snaps. You ran it 9 times, counting 2 Josh runs. But,
yeah.
When you can move it down there, that's kind of big for your offense.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, the offensive line, Coach Cromer, they've done a great job, and that's really where the game's won a lot of times. So I thought they had a good plan coming in and executed.
It's 6 out of 7 down there the last 2 weeks. Do you guys feel like you've got some positive momentum down there in the red area?
Yeah, we'll see. It's good. I'd rather 6 for 7 than 0 for 7. But those points are important, right? When you get the ball down there in the red zone, you got to cash in, and we've done that the last couple of weeks.
Sean, keeping Poyer Elam down tonight, what went into that decision?
Just taking a look at what we have with X, and Trey's ramped up there a little bit his rep count, and we'll watch the tape and see. The competition's good, right? It's healthy for all of us.
So what do you think of the pass protection, in particular with Matthew Judon, and how good he had been coming into this game?
Yeah, I mean, he's a special player, and I'm not going to say his name right, but Yusuke with 55 there, he's also an elite pass rusher, so they do a great job when they're coming off. Did I say his name? Yusuke, sorry. Coming off I want to make sure I respect him the right way, but coming off both edges, I mean, that's a tough tandem right there to block. So thought we did a good job in that regard. They got us one time before half there with the sack fumble. So just got to look back at that as well.
Von Miller, you said that you needed your pass rush to step up. What were your evaluations of that unit tonight, and just the comment on placing Von Miller on IR?
Yeah, I just want to be smart with Von, and then with the guys that were out on the field tonight, I thought they did a good job. I thought the defense as a whole did a good job. We had that one play that got out on us right there. It looked like a missed tackle, and that's always something we can improve on.
Is there a point in time, Coach, where you and the coaching staff said, hey, let's just, for lack of a better term, put this game in like a wrestling submission hold? I mean, you guys kind of choked the game out.
I mean, that's a good defense, really good defense. So we knew it was going to be tough coming in here, and really proud of the guys, the way that they were focused and executed.
Sean, you've talked about Josh over the last few weeks when he's made some errors in the red zone, and then he makes that play today, going out of bounds, across the body, and gets the touchdown on it. Is that the other part with a guy like Josh, where he can make those plays, and it's in his head when he's in that spot to make that kind of throw, the one he gave for the touchdown?
Yeah. I wasn't looking. I closed my eyes when he did it. So. No, I mean, that's part of who he is, and so it just, the bottom line is you can't put the ball in trouble, in danger, and I thought that was a well calculated throw. He was open and he got it to him, and you never take away Josh's instincts and his gut feel. He's got a great feel for things, and but at the end of the day, he knows we've got to continue to be smart with the football.
Sean,
Take two more, please.
But what does a divisional win right now do for your momentum and internal attitude?
Yeah, I mean, a divisional win's important. We knew coming in here it was going to be tough, like I said, against a good football team, and they're really well coached and prepared every week. So we're thankful to get a win, and in the division on top of that.
Sean, I just want to follow up on Vaughn, and you said you wanted to be smart, and obviously that's the focus of that decision. But he's on a podcast 2 nights before talking about wanting to come back for the Jet game and that sort of thing. What kind of all went into that decision, and what was your input?
Yeah, Adam, I don't want to get too far into that. There's been a lot of conversations, and going down that rabbit hole, if you will, is not healthy for us right now, and just out of respect for Vaughn and the team. So I'd rather just talk about the guys that played their butts off out there and gave us great effort, and then Vaughn will go through the process here, and we'll help him get as healthy as we can and go from there. All right, thanks, guys.
All right, we'll definitely monitor Von Miller over the next couple weeks. One guy who played his butt off for the Bills, as Sean McDermott said, he's keeping his eye on the guys who played a lot and played well for this team tonight. Stefon Diggs, 7 catches for 92 yards and a touchdown, the leading receiver for the Buffalo Bills tonight, and he breaks a team record that he set in 2020 of at least 90 receptions in the first 12 games of the season. He goes over 90 with the game tonight, so he breaks his record that he set in 2020. He's been the answer for Josh Allen all season, really.
Well, that's right, and it's interesting because he's part of a Bills group that they're the first to beat the Bill Belichick Patriots by double digits in 3 straight games.
Wow.
Including playoffs, and they're the first ever team to win in New England in 3 straight years. Nobody's ever done that before. Steph Diggs has been a part of that effort. All the stuff that all of Bills fans and Bills Mafia hold against the Patriots and all that angst and all the tough losses and the no-chance losses, Steph Diggs has none of that. Since he's been here, this has been a Bills show. and nothing else. So he has none of that baggage to carry around, and he plays like it.
Against the Patriots, receptions, receiving yards, and I believe receiving touchdowns, Stefon Diggs ranks top 3 in his career against New England. Speaking of Steph Diggs, he's on the podium right now.
With 3 victories at a critical time in the season, maybe just assess all that for us.
A little bit of a road warrior mindset. No matter where we play, who we play, we got to play to our standard, and it was definitely something that we went in with the mindset of just one play at a time. You know what I'm saying? We had some guys banged up. Guys continue to get banged up. So it's like really playing one play at a time and really getting back to being us. You know, you see Josh out there flying around, running around, making plays, and getting back to having fun. So it's something that I anticipate. We're just trying to keep it going.
Steph, what's unlocked this run game for the offense, and how much do you kind of credit Ken Dorsey for the job that he's done now?
100%. I feel like we just been working at it. You know, when you work at something and you practice it and guys perform well and they show you that they can do it, you run it in the game. It's like, no, it's second nature. So we got the backs that can, you know, make explosive plays, and they do a great job. And I just feel like it helps the pass. It helps the pass game. So I anticipate it being something heavy that we're working on. You never know. We might even stop passing the ball a little bit.
With this grind of so many games in so few days, is it going to be nice to kind of get a little bit of a reset here with an extra long week and kind of just...
A little bit. I mean, from the standpoint of, you know, guys are banged up, and we have had a lot of games in a short span of time, but we also got to keep in hindsight that we don't want to take our foot off the gas. We got a couple games rolling in the right direction, you know, and I feel like that's the baby steps, you know, baby steps on where we're trying to go, and setting that standard is huge. You know, we don't want to have too much time off that, you know, we come back with a lull, you know, kind of trying to keep this thing going. So I feel like it's going to be something when we get back to work, we're back to work. Try to do what you can these next couple of days, get your body right, but when they blow the whistle, we got to go.
Steph, that 15-play drive in the second half there, the 94-yard, I mean, that, you know, the game's kind of hanging there a little bit. Yeah. You guys were kind of in control, but that was really just a dominating, I thought, kind of statement drive. Yeah. What did that say about the offense and how specifically you guys executed?
Performing at a high level in high-pressure situations, leading with Josh, making good decisions, running backs protecting the ball, and, you know, those small passes really, you know, getting us first downs or getting us 8-9 yards. It's huge, you know what I'm saying? So we're second in inches instead of 3rd and 1, you know. I just feel like when it's a conglomerate of everybody doing their job, it's a lot of success. It's a lot of success, and it seems like I guess like a well-oiled machine, but it's a lot that goes into it. You know, guys blocking extremely well, catching the ball, getting north, just like little things that they preach. That it sounds like, you know, you hate hearing it as a player. Like, damn, you always say that, coach, but it works. So something that we're going to lean on.
And you said a win is a win is a win. You guys won in methodical fashion here tonight, knowing that the explosive capability is there too. Does winning this way almost force a defense to say, well, we got to take care of that, it'll just grind it out on us, and then that could lead to explosive opportunities?
Yeah, it's like, I guess it's a double-edged sword, especially when you can do it. I mean, from our standpoint, you know, we've lost games because we kind of like didn't really figure it out, or we weren't executing at a high level. As we proceed and as an offense, you just want to figure out ways to win. Even if you win in left-handed, right-handed with your best stuff, and then you got to mix it up with stuff that you've been working on. And, you know, it's kind of like I guess a melting pot of so many things that you just want to go in with a win, figure out ways to win. As an offense, all you can do is your job. I try to just do my job to the best of my ability, but when you see 11 guys doing that, it's something nice to watch.
Steph, you said about Josh flying around. Did you sense something different, maybe even from like the end of the Detroit game, that going forward, that he's feeling better? Have you felt that coming into this time where he's healthier and ready to go?
I mean, I wouldn't know because he doesn't really show it. You know, he's not the quarterback that's out there like, you know, I don't want to say dragging ass, but he's out there trying to give it everything he got. And guys gravitate to him. You know, a player like Josh, like, he's our quarterback too. It helps that he's our quarterback and he's out there giving everything he got. I'm rocking with him. You know, when he's banged up, he's still a good ass football player, and that's when you really gotta love him up. You know what I'm saying? Because things won't go right all the time. But when he gets back to feeling himself, you see those plays that he made today, like when he was scrambling and throwing guys off and finding guys. So him playing with that confidence and getting back to having fun, it spools, I guess, on all of us a little bit.
What are your impressions of James Cook this season, and today specifically seemed like a breakthrough day for him?
It was all right. I told him it was all right. I think James is special. I think he's a special player. He's young, but he's a special player. I told him, one, he got to get his knees up and stop falling on the ground all the time. But two, it's more out there for him. Make sure he's not leaving no meat on the bone. But he's young, he's growing, and he's growing in the right direction fast. You know, we anticipated him helping us. We didn't know when, you know what I'm saying, but it's coming along now. So I anticipate me staying on him real, real hard from this point forward. But he's a good player. Continue to grow, continue to get better. He has the right mindset, and I'm getting behind that guy. I like that kid.
Last one. A lot of hype around the OBJ tour. Will you take any role in the recruiting process?
I'm gonna try my hardest. You know, he's a hell of a player. Definitely adds to our offense as far as like weapon-wise. And he's a hell of a guy. You know, we got some guys that make a lot of plays right now too. So I can always say it's never too many weapons. But I'm gonna try my hardest. Let's see. He's jumping around, so you know, I gotta put the bug in his ear. Yeah, have a good one.
Thanks, Dad.
So the Bills move on to 9-3 on the season, 1-2 in the division. Next 2 weeks, the Jets and the Dolphins. It's a really important 3-game stretch for this team with AFC East title hopes on the line and playoff seeding as well on the line. 1-0 so far in this 3-week stretch. Let's see if this team can pick up a couple more wins before they face the last few games of the season. That's going to do it for us on Bills Post Game Live. If you want more coverage, if you want more interviews, more breakdown, make sure you check us out on MSG tomorrow morning. And Steve Tasker and Chris Brown will be back here tomorrow for One Bills Live.
1 o'clock.
1 to 3. It is past midnight here. I don't know how much rest Steve is going to get, but he's going to be on the radio tomorrow.
I get enough.
All right. Thanks for joining us tonight. For Steve Tasker, I'm Maddy Glab. We will see you guys next week.